Welcome back. I've got an intermediate class for you to build lots of strength. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button and join me in a comfortable seated posture. This might be sitting on your feet or a block or sitting on the floor. So we're going to begin with chest circles. Think about the sternum in the middle of your chest and start to circle it forwards and bring it back around. So as you circle forwards, it sticks forwards, and as you come back, kind of hollow out through the chest. So proud chest as you go forwards, hollow chest as you come back. And we're not trying to restrict any movement here. We're trying to get as much rock and roll and movement as we can, and then change direction. So we're just warming up through the spine here. Hollow out as you come back. Puff your chest as you go forwards. Lovely. And then coming to cross the arms, again just seated in a comfortable position. We're going to take a gentle twist to one side, back to the center, and twist to the other. So we could inhale to center, exhale to twist, inhale to center, exhale to twist. Good. Keeping that tall spine so the crown stays stacked above your tailbone. Good, 3 more here. Still just getting some nice warmth through the spine. Final twist. And back through to the center into some seated side bends. So again, seated in your position of choice. We're gonna reach up and stretch up and over to stretch one side of the waist. And then take it back the other way. So up and over, that's it. Up and over side to side. So as you go for your side bends, try and create like a rainbow shape with the spine rather than kind of a slouch and a slump. Try and really arch through the spine, if that makes sense. So keep taking those side to side. That's it, finding your arch. Gorgeous, gorgeous work. And then bringing that back through center, we're going to do some forward folds in a spine stretch. So if you'd like to join me sitting with your legs out long in front of you. Now you can sit on a block to make this a little bit easier, or you could bend the knees slightly if your hamstrings are a bit tight. So sitting on the sit bones, stretching up nice and tall. We're gonna lengthen through the spine, particularly through the lower back, see if we can get some space there. Just reset your shoulders in front of you, draw the shoulder blades down and open your collarbones. Imagine you're diving up and over a beach ball on your lap. So you're gonna pull your belly button back, pull your rib cage back, and mold yourself around that beach ball. So you're creating a rounded spinal structure. And then relax the arms and back up nice and tall. So it's not really a reach forwards, it's more of a creating curvature through the spine. So again, a nice stretch up, find space in between the joints in your back. Reset the arms, draw the shoulder blades down, relax down through the shoulders, and then come up out of your pelvis, dive over that ball, draw your rib cage back, draw your belly button back. You might even round back towards the sacrum a little bit there, and then relax through the arms, restacking through the spine. And sit tall, stretch. Arms out in front of you. Draw down through shoulders. Dive up and over your hips. That's it. Draw your belly button back. Draw the ribs back. And release. And relax. And come back up to seated. From seated, join me on hands and knees. We're just going to start on hands and knees and lifting one hand then the other, one hand then the other to pad out through the wrists. Just load a little bit more weight onto each wrist as you go. And then we're going to start to slowly turn the fingertips out towards the corners of the mat there. And then start to turn your fingertips a bit wider so they start to point to the edges of the mat there. And then come to rest your hands on the mat, fingertips pointing outwards, and a gentle rock side to side. So I'm just gently rocking a bit of weight into left hand and right hand. Trying not to lift the heels of the hands, but trying to get a stretch into the forearms there and into the wrists. Be sensible with yours, of course, you don't have to overdo it. Lovely, come back to sit off the wrists for a moment. Give those a nice shake out. And then just bring your hands together into a double fist and start to slowly just draw circles with the wrists. That's it. And then we'll change direction. And please join me again on hands and knees. We're going to make sure our hips remain vertically stacked above the knees. Curl the toes underneath you and activate some core engagement. Draw your shoulder blades down, lengthen your neck, and start to just hover your knees just an inch, maybe 2 inches off the mat. This should be really nice for core activation. Breathing here, long through the spine, gripping around the bottom, gripping through the lower abdominals, and lowering 3, 2, 1. Lovely. We're going to do that with some breath. So when you're ready, take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, hover. Inhale to lower. Exhale to hover. Inhale to lower. Exhale, draw in through your lower abdominals. Inhale to lower. Exhale, drawing up through pelvic floor maybe. Inhale to lower. Good, 2 more rounds. Exhaling, finding that centering. Inhale, release. Exhale to find that centering. Inhale to release. Lovely. Again, come back off the wrists. That might be a child's pose that you like, or it might just be coming to sit back off the hands. Let's progress that. So if you want to come back to hands and knees, make sure you've got some space ahead of you on the mat. We're going to be shooting to a plank position, so your hands want to be far enough away from your feet that you could access a plank. Don't worry if that isn't spot on first time. So bring those hips back above those knees again. Don't let your bottom wander forwards. Keep that back. That's it. Hover your knees and then start to shoot forward. Straighten your legs, push through your feet. Find your lovely long plank position. Draw the shoulder blades down, open your collarbones wide, lengthen through the crown and push back through your heels. Find that gorgeous long plank. Lovely. So to come back, we're going to bend the knees again to hover them. So bottom goes back, stacked vertically above knees, and then we rest there. Okay, so that was quite a slow one to get you going. We're going to go a little bit faster. So let's inhale to lift the knees, hover. Exhale, shoot to plank. Inhale, bend the knees back. Exhale, relax. Inhale, hover knees. Exhale, shoot to plank. Inhale, send the bum back. Exhale, relax. Inhale, hover. Exhale, forwards to plank. Inhale, bend the knees, bum back. Exhale, release. Good, inhale, hover. Exhale, shoot to plank. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, relax the knees. Inhale, hover the knees. Exhale, shoot forwards to the plank. Inhale, taking the bottom back again. Exhale, release. We've got 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift those knees. Exhale, shoot forwards. Lovely. Inhale, take it back again. Exhale, relax knees to the mat. Last round. Inhale, hover the knees. Exhale, shoot forwards. Inhale, bring the bottom back above the knees. Relax the knees to the floor. And we're going to chill out here in a pigeon stretch. So bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Take the foot then across the mat towards the left edge and slide down the left leg. You might want to come to rest on forearms here, or you could create a little basket with your hands to rest the head in. And just settle in for a few moments breath, a few moments pause after that quick round of energy. Let your heart rate settle a little. Wonderful. And then push back to your hands and knees again. Let's run through that one more time. So on the hands and knees, walking your hands forwards to that plank type length. Bottom remains back above knees. Hover, shoot forwards to plank. Inhale, knees back. Exhale, release knees. Inhale, hover. Exhale, shoot forwards. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, release knees. Inhale, hover knees. Exhale, shoot forwards to plank. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, relax the knees. Inhale, hover. Exhale, shoot forwards. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, relax. We've got 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift. Exhale, shoot forwards. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, relax. Inhale, lift knees. Exhale, shoot forwards. Inhale, back again. Exhale, relax. Bring your left knee towards left wrist. Swivel the left foot across the width of your mat so it turns to the right edge. And then slide your right leg back down behind you. Feel free to come down to forearms, elbows, or maybe create a nice basket with your hands to rest your head. And we're just coming into pigeon stretch on the other side here. If pigeon stretch is a little bit inaccessible for you, feel free to prop a block underneath the left hip here, or come to a stretch of your choice. You could do pigeon laying down on your back. Okay, bringing yourself back up to the hands and knees. We're going to take this into our level 2 press up. So you want to walk your hands slightly further forwards and then bring the weight forwards over the wrists. So hopefully you can figure that out so that you can find a nice straight body. So if your bum's stuck up in the air, you need to let your hips come forwards a little bit. However, try not to let your hips sag to the floor and the back go into back bend. Keep the hips raised, mid-air, suspended. Tuck your tailbone. Draw your pubic bone up towards your chin, and that should give you a really nice pelvic tuck. Lengthen through your crown. Now imagine you've got some lemons underneath your arms and you're going to squeeze those lemons into your rib cage. That's it, so you're squeezing lemons into the ribs. You're then going to bend your elbows and bring your chest forwards between your hands, and that gives you your level 2 press up. Now don't worry about getting back up. If you want to come up anyway you can, that's fine, but I would recommend squeezing those lemons into the ribs. Take a breath in to prepare, and then push down through the hands, lifting away. So again, think about that pelvic tuck. We'll inhale. Exhale, squeeze your lemons as you take your chest between your hands. Breath in at the bottom. Squeeze lemons, press through hands and you're up. Good, inhale. Exhale, squeezing lemons as you take your chest between your hands. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze and push through the hands. Good, keep the tailbone tucked. Inhale. Exhale to take your press up down towards the floor. Inhale there. And squeeze elbows, push away. Let's do 2 more. Lengthen that crown. Inhale on your prep. Exhale on your movement. Inhale at the base. Squeeze the elbows, push through the hands. Good. And last time. Inhale there. Squeeze lemons and push away. Really nice. Just to finish off with a little bit more heat, let's take that to our full plank position. If you wish, you can stay kneeling if you want to. We're just going to lower down and hover above the floor as well as we can. So imagine squeezing your lemons in towards your ribs as you come down to hover above the mat there, holding 3, 2, 1, and relax back down to the floor. Lovely. Rest your head on your hands there and just let your bottom wiggle side to side. That's it. So we just settle through the back a little bit there. We're going to continue on a similar position, elbows and knees now. So where your hands and knees once were, you're going to take your elbows down instead of your wrists. You can flatten the palms onto the mat. From here, I'd recommend you just let your head and neck relax, so you kind of look between your legs, but you can obviously hold your head wherever it's most comfortable. The other thing I'd think about is, we just talked about squeezing lemons, so try not to let your elbows roll out. Try and bring them and squeeze them in a little bit, so you've got some inward force between your arms. It will help to give you a good base. Okay, so once we're here, we're going to see if we can just stick our left toe back behind us towards the edge of the mat, and then slowly start to lift that heel. Now you want to go so that you can keep your hips square. We know often that this left hip likes to turn out to the left side, so try and square the hips and then gently touch the toe again. So let's lift and lower. Keep the lumbar long, lifting and lowering, squeezing in through the elbows, lifting and lowering. Good, and lifting and lowering. And 6 and lower. And 5, squeezing into the glute. 4, 3, 2, keep squeezing those elbows. 1, hold there. So this time, heel to bum. And that gives us a flexion in the knees so that we get the hamstring to engage. Point the toe. So heel to bum, point the toe. Heel to bum, point the toe. Heel to bum, keep squeezing your lemons, point the toe. Heel to bum, point the toe. Using that core to keep the lumbar nice and long. And point. And 3. And point. 2. And point. 1. Point. Flex that knee again. Flex the foot and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Squeezing that butt. 8, 9, 10. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Bring it down and child's pose. Stretch that out. Good. So just take a moment. Maybe rest the forehead on towards the mat. You can have your arms out in front of you there. Spread your finger pads wide and push your mat forwards. Lengthen your sit bones back. Feel that lovely long stretch down the back, down both sides of the spine. Glorious, glorious stretch. And then let's find hands and knees again. So from hands and knees, we're going to find that elbows and knees position. So elbows where your hands once were. Watch for rolling out through the elbows. Squeeze your lemons. Take your right toe back to the bottom edge of your mat. And we're going to lift your leg and drop your toe. Good. Lift the leg. Tap the toe. Lift the leg. Tap the toe. Squeezing the lemons. Keeping that core nicely suspended. Good. So lengthening through the lumbar, relaxing the head wherever you want to take the head. We'll go for another 4 here. 3, 2, and 1. Hold up there. And then we're going heel to bum to get the hamstring. Point the toe. Heel to bum. Point the toe. Good. Heel and point. Heel and point. Square those hips and point. Heel and point. Heel and point. 2 more, then heel and point. Last one. Heel and point. Bend the knee again and we pulse here through the glute. So pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Lovely. Bring it down. Really good job. Send the bottom back to the hips and send your knees apart. Keep the big toes together, knees open to take your wide leg child's pose. You could have your arms out in front of you or you could come to rest your head on your hands. So just take these breaths. Let that fast heart rate calm down a little bit there. It's the warm work being on elbows and knees. Come to join me laying down on your back next. So gently lower yourself down toward the mat and interlock your fingertips. Take them behind the back of your skull for support. We want the elbows quite open in the peripheral vision and that nice open collarbone, open chest structure. So we're going to do our sit-up. Instead of rolling and rounding like you would in a normal sit-up, we're going to keep our spine as long as we can. So hinge from the base of your rib cage. So the bottom rib hinges. You can keep the neck and the upper spine long and then gently lay back down. So you don't get very high off the mat, but we get really deep core muscles activated. So think about lowest rib going towards your hips and then coming back down. So rib cage kissing the hip bones. Gently relax and release. So looking just above your knees, taking it down. Imagine you're pinching a plum or a peach under your chin so that you've got a little gap there under the chin, but we've got the front of the neck active and working. Lovely. Keep going. Let's go for another 5. And lay back. 4. And lay back. Should be getting some little shakes here. 3. And lay back. 2, hinging ribs to hips, lay back, and last one, And taking this into our tabletop position, so lifting one knee above the hip, re-engaging to lift knee number 2 above the hip. We're going to add in a diagonal twist here. So as you hinge your rib, you're going to take your opposite rib to the opposite hip bone here, and then lay back to the center of the mat. So twist rib to hip, lay back. Your job is to try and keep your pelvis steady and level on the mat. So the pelvis stays firm and we just bend towards it. So rib to hip, gently lower down. Rib to hip, gently lower. Let's go for 4 and lower. 3 and lower. 2 and lower. And 1 and lower. Good. Now that your core is prepped, we're going to move on to a more intermediate movement. So this is our single leg stretch. This is one of Joseph Pilates' original 34 movements. So we're going to take that tabletop leg position again, arms out front. We're going to do an arm circle movement. So the arms will reach up and circle back beside us, okay? But we're also going to take the abdominal prep position as we do this. So if you can hinge your ribs towards your hip bones, and then you're going to go for overhead circle with a leg extension, circle back in. Overhead with leg extension, circle back in. Overhead, leg extension, circle back in. Lovely. So keep these up. If this is too much for your head and neck, please feel free to take your head and neck back down towards the floor. Good. So I would inhale and exhale to circle, but up to you when you want to breathe. You'll find a way that works quite well with your brain. Keep it up. You're going for overhead reach with the leg extension, circle back. So the higher you keep your limbs, the easier this will be. The further away and the lower you go with the arms and the legs, the more testing this is going to be on your abs. So let's go for 2 more here. And then gently take head and shoulders down, hug knees in towards the chest, and just give those a squeeze in and out to find length in the lumbar. Beautiful work. We're going to do one more round of those. Again, if your neck's feeling a bit, angsty, leave your head and shoulders on the ground for this last round. Let's find tabletop legs. Let's find our hinge up. And we're going to inhale, extend, exhale, circle back. Inhale, extend, exhale, circle back. Good. So as we work here, you want to try and keep your rib cage quite close to the hip bones. And again, we should be getting little bits of shake. Maybe you can hear that in my voice already. That's what we want, a little bit of hard work. It's not going to be forever, just a little bit more hard work. You've got to extend, draw back in, extend, draw back in. Let's go for 2 more rounds here. Use that breath. And lay back, hug knees into chest. Gorgeous, gorgeous work. Okay, so stretch your legs nice and long now to the bottom end of your mat. Stretch your hands up high to the top edge and lengthen through your body. So have a really good reach up the midline. Feel your tummy stretching out. And then stretch a bit more on the left side and the right side. You can have a little bit of a wiggle and an extra stretch each side there. Draw the knees back in towards you. We're going to hug knees in and rock and roll up and down your mat a few times until you gather momentum to come up to a seated position. We're then going to come to straighten our legs out in front of us. So if you take 2 legs nice and straight, you're going to take your right leg and cross it over the left. You're going to take your left hand and use that to hold on to the knee. Now you can bring the knee into the crook of the elbow if that's useful, and you're going to use this as a twist and a bit of leverage to take your twist to your right side. And then back through to the center. Lovely. Take your left foot over. Take your right hand onto the leg. And again, take your twist around to your left. We'll be moving into pigeon stretch next. So if you unravel, we're going to do this against a wall if you've got a flat bit of wall. If not, don't worry, you can do it seated or you could lay down to do this. So pigeon stretch, you want to be quite flat against the wall, okay? And you're going to cross your leg over like we just did, but this time you're going to scoop your leg up like you're cradling a baby. So you could hold it by holding the foot and holding the knee, or you could get it into the forearms. If you're really bendy, you will be able to hook your forearms under here. So we're trying to sit up as tall as we can. That's why we've got the wall to give us feedback so we don't slouch. And this encourages the extra stretch down the outer hip here. So just breathing here, sitting tall, sitting on the sit bones, reposition, readjust if you need to. And breathe through it. Again, if you can't get this high, don't worry, you might be somewhere like this. You might also enjoy a bit of a rock side to side if you're here. So many variations on pigeon stretches. You can keep them quite dynamic and move them, or you might just be sitting tight up here. And we'll hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and changing legs. So cross one leg over, and again, pick it up, scoop it up any way you like. You might hold it like a baby, or you might be holding it with your hands. You might be rocking side to side. Some of you bendy bodies might be hooking under here, in which case, reminding myself as well as reminding you to straighten up against that wall and sit with the stretch. So again, just go where feels useful. Last 3, 2, and 1. Gently releasing that leg and coming to sit comfortably. I really hope you've enjoyed today's class, and I look forward to seeing you next time.